Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Tea with Publicity. I am joined by my friend Kate today. She's going to be riding with me the whole episode.
So excited.
Norkeliunas.
Yep, Norkeliunas.
Oh, we're just best friends. I know it now.
I know.
Before we get started, I just want to remind you guys that today's episode and every episode this year is presented by Mamitas Hard Tequila Seltzer, my favorite. When you were over the other night, I gave Erica a Mamitas.
I know, I didn't get to try it.
She was like, oh my God, this is good. It comes in Paloma, mango, lime, and pineapple. And I drank one last night. Of course, Paloma, my fave. And it was so good. And yeah, you can get it on GoPuff or drinkmamitas.com. It will be the drink of the summer for sure. So make sure you stock up so we could drink mamitas together. And let's get into today's episode. So Kate,
Hey.
You're just riding with me this whole episode today, which
I love it.
I'm so excited. I have a list, like if you guys are curious, the way I organize my podcast just in general is I keep a running list on my phone in my notes app of things that happen to me throughout the week. So then when I record, I have things to share.
So smart.
So what I want to talk about today, just in this little opening, is the fact that I fell last week.
Alyssa, like we talk on a daily basis. We like FaceTime each other, and I FaceTimed her the other day, and she's like, look at my knees. And I'm like, how the fuck did you do that?
Okay, so it was Wednesday, I want to say, and I was walking. I get my hair done on Wednesdays. So I was walking from my salon to the office, which is walking distance. And I'm like, it's too soon. And I was texting.
Of course.
We all walk and text, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, we do.
And I couldn't even process what happened. I blacked out. So basically I was walking, and before I knew it, I was spread eagle on the floor. And not like, when I say on the floor, guys, it was cement outside New York City streets. I skid forward on both my hands, both my knees. I was like, you know, in a cartoon when someone splats on the ground and they fall and they show them. Yeah. That was me. I was completely splattered on the floor, and a guy came running out of his car.
See, I don't know. See, that's bad. No, like I definitely think that's bad. But like the other day when I was walking in Hoboken, I didn't fall, but I'm reading emails and I'm forwarding emails to my management and doing whatever, and I didn't even like stop to see if the light was green, and I almost got ran over. So
that's bad.
No, it's so bad, and I felt terrible because the person's honking and like making so much noise, and I'm like, all you can do is like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, but.
Because if you get hit, they're liable, even though
it's definitely my fault because it was their green light. It was clearly a red light. And there's sometimes I just like do that. But I was saying that the other day to my friend, because Hoboken's so small that anytime I step outside, I feel like I always see someone. And like, you know, when you're sometimes just like in the zone and you like, I'm on walks and I don't want to speak to anyone. And that's not to say that like people come up to me, they say hi and all this stuff. But like, there's just sometimes that I'm in the zone. One time I literally was like trying to like look at my phone just to like not say hi to this like particular person.
Oh no, avoiding,
but then you end up like feeling bad. That for me, I feel bad, and I'm like,
was it someone you knew?
Someone I know, yeah.
Yeah, I just looked down.
I'm like, I can't.
No,
like,
I do this.
It's just the effort sometimes. You know what I'm saying?
It's not. It's more like the small talk. It's not that you don't like the person, but it's like, do I really want to pause my day and like catch up and ask you how your dog is?
Well, literally, that's what Aubrey and I were talking about the other day.
Yeah,
my best friend Aubrey and I literally just said that
So you have other friends?
I mean, I feel like I don't actually have a lot of friends. That's the thing. Like if I ever say my friend, it's always Aubrey.
Yeah, it's always
Aubrey. But I can't stand the small talk. I can't, especially like when you have like irritating days. Like I'm like no,
especially as a single person. Yeah, because everyone's like, "What's new?" And I'm like, still single.
The same thing. That, like when this particular situation too. I had just seen this person the day before.
Oh no, too much.
So I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
That's when you just do a quick, oh, you again, haha. Keep walking.
Yeah, it's exactly what I did because I felt too bad. I started looking at my phone and I felt so guilty, and I was like, just say hi, be nice,
then keep it moving.
Yeah, then gotta go.
So I splattered. My knee. Not well, bitch. Not well. I mean, I don't know if you could see it on camera. I think my laptop's blocking it.
Oh, no, you can see it.
You can't really miss it. Full scab. It's like brown. It's disgusting. And oops, there goes my phone. Hold on.
You got it?
Okay, got it.
Alyssa's in this chair. She can't get out.
I feel so stuck in this chair for some reason. Okay, so I fell. I skinned my knee. It wasn't great, and I think the worst part about it is that every time I bend, it recracks. Like the scab recracks.
It's just not great.
Just sends a chill down my spine, truly. Okay, so that was on my list. I don't know if I told you guys, like, I'm going to Paris in a month. And I am so excited. I'm going with Jill, my best friend. And I'm so excited because the Tea Tribe just knows me so well. They know I get my hair done weekly. Yeah. And they like are DMing me being like, here's where you're going to get your hair blown out.
How long are you going for?
5 days.
Oh.
But if I could avoid washing my hair while I'm there, I would love to.
Well, you should get a blowout right before you go. And then
exactly.
You should get one like
once there.
Like midweek.
I don't wash my hair that often. The issue is when you're traveling, I've noticed even if you bring a converter, sometimes it still burns out your hair tools. And I don't really want it. I'd rather spend $50 on a blowout than $150 replacing my straightening iron because it blows out.
I went home to like Florida and I got blowouts. I didn't even wash my hair. I got 2 blowouts while I was home, and I was home for a week.
Why are we this way?
Well, I think it's once you start, because like I just started getting blowouts probably like 6 months ago. And once you start, it's kind of addicting. Like you don't stop. Like I'd rather just go to the salon, get it done properly. Well, also for Hoboken water, it's so hard, and it's my skin, or not my skin, my hair is always greasy. Whenever I wash it, and I try to do it how the salon does it, where you're like really getting in, like massaging, getting deep, using the tools, like I'll do whatever, but I just like it how they do it, and then it's gonna last a little bit.
So for me, it's because my hair is so naturally curly that it's actually a process to wash my hair. Yeah. It's tough, and I'm good at it, but I have to schedule in a full 2 hours of my day. And sometimes, what's the word? Like they say sometimes if you spend money on something, it comes back tenfold, because the hour and a half I'm saving, having someone else do it, I could spend an hour and a half working, making more money. Yep. So it sounds like such a bougie thing, but it all depends how it like fits into your lifestyle.
Yeah. I feel like you make room for it in your life.
Well, let's also be frank. I don't pay for my blowouts. That's why I get them.
Oh, see,
actually, you know what? That's a really good thing though for me to share, so people don't think I'm some bougie ass B. Guys, I don't pay for them because I don't want people to be like.
Yeah, but you do it.
I tip every week though.
Yeah.
More than the average, because I realize. Yeah. But I think that's actually probably good inside info for people to know, because I think sometimes people are like, "How are you doing these things?" So it's like, I probably wouldn't be doing them as frequently if that weren't the case.
Yeah.
So Tea Tribe's DMing me. They just know me so well. They're like, go eat here, go do this, go rent a bike. They know I love to bike.
Isn't that the best? No, you and the.
How do you feel about my biking?
You and the freaking bikes. I was saying this to Aubrey the other day. There's a couple rules. One, if it's a guy, if it's 3 guys, okay, in like a group, they're automatically hot for some reason. They're automatically hot.
Totally.
If it's a guy that has a backwards hat, automatically hot. It's the same thing for like guys and girls that ride city bikes. It's like an automatic attraction. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? But like in the best way, Oh,
so I am so attractive.
Yeah, so you're hot because you ride a city bike. It's very like, it's intriguing,
I feel like what people don't know about me, you could probably guess by my outfit today, but like I'm a secret tomboy. I think people don't pick that up from me.
No, because you're very glamorous.
But I'm either glamorous.
Alyssa, you are the most glamorous girly girl that I know. I love you, but you are such a girly girl. And that's a good thing.
No, but my point is, I think I appear girly because I like to do my hair and I like to do my nails. Yeah. I'm secretly a dude. Like, it's a misconception. Yeah. Like, I love things that go fast and with wheels. I love even like water sports.
But I don't think you have to be a dude to like those things.
No, but my point is like I wish I can get I want to have my college friends on the pod one day. We would literally need to sit in here because there's like 5 of us. Yeah. But they saw it firsthand because like I'm a dude. Like I'm the girl that always used to have chip nails, like didn't care. It's weird. It's this weird like oxymoron.
It's very interesting because the way that I have known you the last year and a half, 2 years, it's not like you're very, very much put together.
I'm not perceived. I'm not perceived that way. No. It's very because I think I like to present a certain way.
Totally.
But I think like I love back to city biking. Like I love things with wheels. I love driving fast cars.
Yeah.
I feel so comfortable on a city bike. I like am running these streets.
They scare the living shit out of me. They scare me so bad, especially like even Hoboken's smaller, but even in Hoboken, they like literally scare me because you don't know how people are driving or like they're. I don't know. I don't know how you get on it and feel.
You just have to stay alert. You have to keep that head on a swivel. You're looking over your shoulders. No. You're balancing. But I'm making a playlist and I'll put it on my stories when it's done called City Bike Summer.
I love that.
And it's going to be the city bike hot girl anthem for when you're riding your city bike.
I'll listen to it while I ride my scooter.
So that's another thing that I think would surprise people about me.
You ride scooters?
No, I like boyish music, I find. My genre is like emo jams. So my playlists are they're not like Katy Perry. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think you can be like full rounded. I don't think it has to be like girls and guys. You know
Me trying to prove that I'm badass.
No, you could be, but that's the thing. Like you could be all of these things, but it doesn't have to be defined by like feminine or masculine kind of things. You know, like you're just like you're you. You know, you can be a whole spectrum of things.
I am just individually me.
Yeah.
I want to get into you. Now we're gonna just transition a little bit. What were we talking about the other day about?
We were talking about city bikes the other day.
Well, what haven't we talked about? We were talking about fear.
Yeah.
And I want to dig into that a little bit because Kate and I were talking about just like not knowing what's next in your career, not knowing, like, I guess you really never know in life what's next. And that's really what anxiety is, just like that lack of control.
Yeah.
But you were kind of helping me actually talk through some of like my anxieties.
Yeah.
And you posted something on it. I want you to kind of reiterate what you were saying.
So I'm reading this book.
Called we love a book.
Yes, called Happy Money. And there's like a lot that goes like into like financial details and like how you feel about money and how you grew up and how your parents handled money that really can like traumatize you or like all of these things. But basically it was saying that there is I can't even think what it was saying. I literally posted it on my story. This is like
did a whole monologue.
I've literally done this like 7 times now, but I think it's basically saying that like you can't worry about the past. You can't really like predict the future or whatever. You can't like have anxiety about the future. You just have to be present, and that's really important because there is no future. Like that's all. The future is in your mind. You know what I'm saying? Like you're putting that kind of
manifestation,
and you can't. And that's what you were saying, that your dad was saying, that like you can't put out fear and negative things. It needs to be positive, and that's going to be the result of it. And I always say this, the energy that you put out is the energy you're going to receive in return.
So yeah, that was happening to me where I was like, well, in a year, what if this happens?
Yeah.
And what if blah, blah, blah happens? And then everyone around me was like, but why are you thinking like that?
Yeah,
that didn't happen yet.
Mm-hmm.
So we were basically talking about, not putting out negative energy towards things that haven't already happened. Exactly. I was actually talking about this with my friend Chelsea the other day. We were talking about similar, just like inflation, grown up shit. Yeah. And I was saying, it like really scares me how New York City rent's gone up. And we were just like, money really scares people.
It does.
And we were talking, and I was regurgitating this advice to her, which I wish I would take myself sometimes. And I was like, you just can't worry about it.
Well, no, okay, so like my uncle's super smart, and like he gives me a lot of like financial advice and all of this stuff. And one thing that he told me was, what goes around comes around. You be generous, but with a grain of salt, but you be generous, and you have to think about money like air almost, like you don't sit there and be like how much air am I intaking? You don't think about that stuff when you're just like breathing. That if you think of money in that really just kind of like airy and flowy way, it'll come and it will go, and it will come and it will go, like as it will,
Oh my God, that's such a good analogy, because I think about money like I'm choking on it. Like I'm like, I can't come up for air.
No, you can't. I feel like money is the root of all evil, and you just like really need to focus on just living and not so like focus so hard on that one little aspect, because I think people think, oh, success means money. No, success means like happiness, you know, and just.
Oh my God, I had this conversation with my parents over, what was the last holiday that we just had? Like Christmas?
Easter.
I feel like Easter hasn't happened yet.
St. Patrick's Day.
I feel like, wow, that
it was probably your sister's no, because bridal or not bridal
baby shower. No, it wasn't even that, but it was literally Christmas. Oh my God, we haven't had a holiday in so long. Whenever I was home last, I had a conversation with my parents about this, and I think I might have recapped it on the podcast, but it's just interesting to touch on. We were talking about dating, and I was telling them about dating apps, and my dad said something, again, he really gives me some good info.
Smart guy.
He said something like, well, what does success look like to you? Because I was talking about dating people that had certain careers. And he was like, well, is success to you to be wealthy, or is success to you to be happy and meet the love of your life and live a happy marriage?
Yeah.
And it's so true. It's like success is so much more than money. I think we hear success and we think career, money, driven. But it's like, no, it could be being happy. It could be having no money but living on an island and living your best freaking life. Like, it doesn't, I don't know. It's tough, and it does definitely weigh on me a lot, I feel.
Yeah, you really should read this book if anyone's like really struggling with this kind of stuff, because it goes through all these different, I wish I brought it. It goes through all these different like things where like how your spending habits and like what like category that you're in, and you can be in more than one category.
Yeah,
you know?
That makes sense.
But it's such I read it like 10 pages, just like
that's how I am with those kind of books, like a little bit,
just little bits every morning, because it puts me in such a good mood, and it like kind of changes my perspective a little bit. That I'm like, why am I sitting here worrying about like the littlest thing? You know, there's like there's more of a big picture, and I want to be able to be like, my success is my happiness. Like that's how I define my success. I'm like, if I can do what I love and just be generous and have good relationships with my friends and my family and live every day like it's my last, success.
I think you do a really good job at that. Like, I think you have a very positive outlook at the world. Like with everything, like just the way you give me advice, you'll be like, well, it doesn't matter, or just be happy. Like, how do you choose that mindset?
Well, I think when I was younger, I think really that's like my mom's mindset. So like I have really mirrored off of her growing up, you know.
So you had a good role model.
Very good role model. She's always had a really positive perception, and like just her outlook on life is really positive. So I think that that's what has helped me. And growing up, I would say that like I'm a glass half full kind of girl, but over the years, I've just realized I'm happy to have a glass. Like, doesn't matter what's in it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just happy to be here, and I'm happy to be healthy and happy. And I don't know. It's just perspective. And I think really like COVID kind of put me into this like just happy to have a glass little bit, you know, because it was just kind of a shit show the last 2 years, and you don't realize how like quick life goes. And I think that we just get so caught up in the smallest little things that like make us angry, and there's really no reason for it, you know, if you really sit back and like think about it. And then also someone, I don't know who said this, but it was like, if you are angry or you're upset at something, take that 5 minutes. You can have those 5 minutes to be upset, to be angry, and then let it go. You have to let it go. You can't just sit here and like continue. And it's easier said than done, because I have sat and sulked for days over something, you know, but it really is something that you're like, why am I letting someone or something ruin my mood or my, like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense to do that.
Totally. I think that's such like a beautiful way to live.
Yeah.
Truly. I think I'm a pretty positive person. I think compared to most.
You're very positive.
You know, sometimes you hear those people and you're just like, oh, negative Nancy has entered the chat.
No, you're really positive, and you're very knowledgeable with the things that like in like your field. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like for me, you've been a huge guidance like with all of this, you know, but definitely like you have a perspective and you have opinions, but you don't also like let your opinions weigh on anyone else. And we've talked about this a little bit. Like we've had situations where you're like, oh no, like I have this.
Yes, like we might perceive someone differently, but
Correct.
I'm not going to just jump on the bandwagon
Correct.
of what you think or what
Correct. Yes.
I agree. I think it was funny because I got a comment like that yesterday where someone wrote in and they were like, when you're interviewing people, try not to always just agree with them. And in my head, I was like, I don't really think I do that.
You definitely don't do that. You don't do that. I don't think you've done that here from what I've listened to in the like your episodes, and you don't do that in real life.
Well, because I've always been, I think I could name a situation specifically where I was friends with a group of girls and they were trying to ice this one girl out, and I didn't get why, and I didn't go with the bandwagon. I was like, no, I think she's cool. I remained friends with her, and like I just think I'm pretty good at not doing that. So
I think a lot of people aren't good at that.
exactly, they just go with the tide.
Right. Which like you shouldn't do that. You should have your own opinions. You know, like obviously. With information and backing it up, like to show like this is why you. But you don't also have to like be like up everyone's asses.
I think I'm just really learning to trust my gut.
Yep.
And sometimes I've gut feelings about people and I could kind of see through like, okay, maybe the world is perceiving them this way, but I don't see that. So I'm just going to stick with my gut. So I just try to stay strong in what I'm feeling.
I feel like that comes with age though. Like I know we're not old by any means.
No.
Like I'm 28, but I do think that comes with a little bit of age where you're just like, I'm not going to put up with like shit anymore. You know what I'm saying? I'm not about like drama or like being in that drama. Like there's no reason for it anymore. Like at least for me, I'm like, I just don't want it, you know? I
said this actually the other day. I was texting someone in the same field as me, and it was funny because I feel like I have a lot more perspectives than a lot of the people because I'm much older than a lot of the people. Like some of these people in my industry are like 19, 21, 20, you know, it's very different. And I was saying, I was like, it all comes with time. You just see some shit. Yeah. Like it's not ironic that they say as you get older, you get wiser.
Yeah.
Because you just go through more of life.
Yeah, totally.
And you just see more experience and you kind of just learn what works for you, what doesn't, what's serving you, what isn't.
Right.
Something else I wanted to bring up, which I think could be really interesting to talk about. So I was listening to a podcast and it was The Skinny Confidential, and her and her husband were talking about their morning routines and how they live such like this wellness, amazing life. And I feel like I've just completely lost touch with that side of myself.
Yeah.
I think seasonal depression is very real.
No, I grew up in Florida for most of my life. That shit has hit me hard.
Same,
over
like I
over
feel
the
like
winters.
I used to love my walks and love my meditation and love my journaling, and I just feel like I've been in this dark apartment.
Which is okay though. You have to you also have to realize though, it's okay because I was in the same like little rut a little bit where I'm like, no, I wake up at 10:30. I get up. I'm sitting there with my coffee. I'm watching TV.
Then you have no desire
to do anything.
But I don't. It's not even that I'm being hard on myself. It's like I don't like, now that it's getting nicer out, I want to reconnect with these routines. Right. So I was listening to this concept that they were talking about, and they gave a piece of advice that I want to start implementing into my life. Of course, I didn't do it this morning. But so basically they were saying two things that I want to do. Start with a morning routine that's like super tangible and small. So it could be literally like what I made mine is I want to wake up every day, make my bed first thing I do. I want to put up my blinds the second I get out of bed. Because I think what happens is if I don't put up my blinds right away, then I'm like, oh, I'll just lay in bed for a little bit longer. Oh, I'll just be on my phone. So I want to literally roll over before I check my phone, blinds up, bed made. So I'm out of bed. And then the second thing I want to do is while I'm taking like my morning pills, medication, like vitamins, whatever, chug like a big glass of water and stretch. 10-15 minutes stretch. That's what I like. Those are tangible things. Within 15 minutes, done. Boom. Start your morning on a good foot.
It's so interesting though because like I'm like listening to this and like you're like, yes, that sounds so good.
And you're like, I'm not going to do it.
But it's like it's hard to sometimes it's even hard to wrap yourself around the easiest thing, like drinking a glass of water.
No, I agree.
It's like, why is it so difficult?
That's what we don't talk about enough. These wellness bitches out here making us think that they're meditating, stretching, doing yoga all before a day's work.
And good for them. Like, here's the thing. This is where I'm like,
but are they really doing it?
No, unless it's like if you're looking at the content, because you have to think about it like this. If you're looking at content that's like so perfect, which is great, that's someone's aesthetic, that's people like that. It's very curated, awesome. You know, good for that. But if you really think about it, I've done these videos before where you're like making a piece of toast, okay?
Totally.
You're not calm. You're not zen. You're
saying
not any of that. So they're moving their camera around. They're not
leave content out of it. Are people doing this?
No. I'm saying no, they're not. Like if you think about it, like it's
I think there are people that are really, really, really regimented that live their life. I have no routine in my life. Do you?
I don't know.
You and I are the same like that.
I literally have no routine. The only regimen I have in the morning is getting up, drinking coffee, and taking a shit.
I knew it. Like,
that is literally my only routine in the morning.
Okay, but
right now for the last 2 weeks, I've been eating waffles with
someone's wearing fake titties over there. That just really took me aback for a second. Do you see that?
Yeah, my waffles with
peanut
butter and jelly. My blueberry waffles. That's the only thing that's like been my regimen the last 2 weeks.
Okay, but I think you and I aren't those people, but I think people are those people.
I'm sure, but like I also just think it's like fraud.
No, I don't think it's fraud. I think there's type A people that are insane.
Oh, there are definitely type A
like,
people.
There are people that if they don't make their bed, their whole day's ruined.
Oh my God, yes. Where it's, to me, it just wouldn't bother me.
This is the thing. How do I make it bother me?
You'll just never be that person. But there are just two types of people. There's type A and type B, and like.
But I do feel better when I start my day with a walk.
But can I also tell you this? Like, I think that you being that way makes you super creative. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it puts you into that puts you into that pool of creativity because you're kind of like all over the place.
I agree.
You know?
Like we're random.
Yeah, you can't be so like, and that's what I've realized because there are some things where I'm like, I'm changing my life. I'm going to drink my water and write in my journal and work out every single day. And then like one thing throws me off and I'm like, fuck this. Like that's not who I am. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I agree, but I do think I feel better in life when I have a balance of things. Not that I don't care if I'm doing a routine because I'm never going to have a routine.
Yeah.
I might walk at 8 a.m. one morning. I might walk at 5 p.m. the next. I will never do things in order because I'm just so sporadic and random. But I do feel mentally better when it's bright out and nice out and I'm by the water and I'm walking and I'm caring for myself in that way.
Snapping
you get what I'm saying?
No, because that's literally what I've been feeling the last like couple of weeks now that's like turning and like the weather's getting nicer. I'm like, I am ready to work out outside again, like do my jump ropes, like get my body moving. I'm like, my steps have gone up like literally 13,000 in the last like 2 weeks because it's nice outside. And I do think that seasonal depression is a real thing. I do think that the sun changes your mood so much and that you do need to get outside and like feel the vitamin. Is it vitamin D or vitamin C? D. You need to feel the vitamin D.
I know, because I've been feeling this way. So another thing that they talked about was it's called habit stacking, which I thought was so interesting. And basically it's stacking habits on top of each other. So you really feel like you're doing one thing, but you're getting like 5 things done at once.
Like how, like give me an example.
This is an example that you and I would do because we're not this like spiritual, we're not this like meditative, but for her, an example she gave was every day she likes to meditate. So she's like, while I'm meditating, I put my legs up against the wall so they drain because she's pregnant. And she puts these toe stretchers in her toes because it's good for being pregnant.
She's doing like a lot.
So as she's meditating, she has noise canceling headphones on, a crystal mask on her face, essential oil, legs up, toes drained. But basically she's doing one thing. She's meditating for 15 minutes, but she's getting like 15 other benefits from that 15 minutes. Kate's like, I don't buy this shit at all.
No, I do. I completely do.
But that's not an example we would use in our life.
I'm literally trying to like think in my head, what would an example be for us?
Okay, it would be while you're making your breakfast, maybe you're listening to a podcast that's motivational about money or about attitude. Yeah. And then you're making a lemon water. Do you know what I mean? It could be something more. Or while you're going for a walk, you're listening to a podcast that's like making you feel good while you're also moving your body. And maybe you're wearing like weights on your wrist. It's just like stacking, doing one thing, but getting multiple things done. Yep. And I thought that was an interesting concept that I'd never like thought about before.
No, because I'm literally like, I'm a one step type of person where like I can only focus on one thing at a time. That's why like being my own boss is so fucking hard.
Okay, I have a question for you because I'm this way. Do you have a really hard time with consistency?
No, because
not with work, with life.
With life?
Like if you're like, I'm going to walk this week and then the next week you don't walk at all. Like I have a hard time being consistent with things.
I think it's like a weather thing. Like I think that during the summer, I'm like outside every day, at least for like 20 minutes, at least for like just a little bit of time. Do you know what I'm saying? But like when it's the winter, it's like, no, like don't talk to me. Like I can't do anything. Like I really can't. I get stuck. I get really stuck.
I need to travel more in the winter. And I say this, I've said this every year since I've lived in the city and it doesn't happen. And like, I need to just go to Florida for a few months in the winter.
Yep.
We're going to your family's house next year.
Come on, let's go.
Grandma? I always see your grandma in your videos.
Grandma, I know. She's the best.
I want to give you guys, we're going to switch gears a little bit because we are running out of time. Today was just a shit show, guys, just so you know. Like the studio got booked and then I have a migraine. It's just a lot. We're going to do Ask Alyssa. We're going to do 2 today. And Kate's going to help me give out some good advice.
The last time I was doing this, I did not give good advice. I just remember being like, no.
I gave the worst advice of all time last week, and I'm usually pretty spot on with my advice. And like, I just gave bad advice.
See, this is consistent for you. I know that it's work, but it's still very consistent. And it's like, it's not easy.
I have no problem being consistent at work. It's personal life. Like, it's really weird. I talk about it in therapy.
Oh, do you?
Okay. Yeah, because I'm like, why am I so consistent in work, but with nothing else?
Yeah.
Okay. Ask Alyssa. I love your podcast and have been in the Tea Tribe since what it feels like is day one. I don't have a sister, so I always look forward to hearing what you say.
Aww.
I know. And it feels like sisterly advice. My boyfriend and I have been dating for 4 years. I know it's a long time, but we started dating my senior year of high school, and he is a year younger than me. And I had always had this dream of going to FIT and NYC for fashion school, but it was too far away for me, and I really wanted to stay close to my boyfriend because I love him so much, and I really was so young and in love. So now, fast forward, during COVID, I got bored and applied to a fashion school in Paris and got in for the semester. I really do think I have imposter syndrome because I did not think I was going to get in and didn't put much thought into it. Well, after some conversations, I decided I would take the leap and move to Paris for 6 months. I did not know a single soul, and I found some of the best friends I ever have over there. But anyway, now I'm going to be moving to NYC in the fall, and I'm not sure what to do. Obviously, I want to stay with my boyfriend, but it's different than when I went to Paris. This time, it's a more permanent move compared to me being back in 6 months. I'm trying to see if he would want to move up here, but it's hard because he's in school too in our hometown. He's feeling like this is just a waiting game, and I know while we are young, I just want to fast forward to the part where we live in New York City apartment together, but I don't want to give up my glory days focusing on a future. Do you have any advice? Love you and your podcast so much. I also had a boyfriend during those years of my life. Yeah. So like I was in a similar situation in the sense where I think what I did though at that age was I tried to live in the moment versus looking ahead, which is
that's literally what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
I think it's okay. I feel like a lot of people would be like, no, break up with him. Like, you deserve to have this time, blah, 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 which I just like don't agree with. Like, I think that I also think that there is like a right time for people, like or wrong time, right person, wrong time kind of thing. But I think in this situation, if they've done the Paris thing, I think that they can really make this work. And I think that you can easily have your own life and a life together, you know, while going through school, because I did the same thing with Connor. Like for the last year, I was still in school. Connor was at grad school at a different school. Mm-hmm. So we did a year of distance. It wasn't like that far. It was like 2 hours, but it was still trying to figure out timeline and trying to figure out when we could see schedules. And it's hard. And then I moved to Hoboken and Connor was still at grad school. And that was like 5 hours away from each other. And still, like, you can really make these things work and still have a good time with your friends. And
I think you will get your answer over time. Yep. Like, either you're going to stay through it. Mm-hmm. I don't think you should break up if you guys are so in love. I think so what happened with me was I was so head over heels in love too, didn't care about the distance. Like when my boyfriend was a year older than me and when he was applying to colleges, I just wasn't thinking about the future. I wasn't thinking about marriage. I wasn't thinking about settling down. I was just taking it a day at a time. But I didn't base where I went off to school around him. So our colleges were like 5 hours away and we made it work for my freshman year and most of my sophomore year of college. That's a lot. And eventually I think the distance not really. I think the distance helped me figure out he maybe wasn't my person. Just, but
it could also do this. It could do the opposite.
That's what I was going to say. Like, it wasn't really because of the distance. It was just what the distance made me grow and learn.
My one piece of advice is, as long as he is not taking away from your experiences and you're not taking away from his, I think it's a go.
Me too.
Because I've had friends. I had a friend in college. She and her now husband did long distance for literally 4 years. They were together since high school, and he was like in the military, and the back and forth, and not just like not seeing each other for like a couple months, like not seeing each other for like a year when he was based, senior year, and they made it work. They didn't take away from each other's experiences. They stayed true to who they are and still had a lot of fun, and then got to come back together and get married like after college. But that's what I'm saying. I think these things can work, and you do get to see and feel how that person grows and who they are,
exactly,
and who they become, and then you get to make the decision off of that.
And you might break up, but it might not be because of the distance. It might be because of what the distance allowed you to learn about yourself.
Correct.
That's what I'm trying to explain.
And that also goes into like being like you're ever growing, you're ever changing,
Yeah.
And so is that person. And whether you're changing together and growing together or you're growing apart,
yep,
it doesn't have to be this like hostile thing.
And you might move to New York and be like, oh wait, actually, like I want a person that has this political view. Like, it might be something that small, yep, that you learn from living a different life, yep, that is just, maybe then you break up then. But I don't think I would rush breaking up with someone just for the distance.
No, especially if you did it through Paris and you got to have friends and you got to do experiences and he wasn't holding you back. And
also, like, I'm so happy she went to Paris.
Absolutely.
Lauren Conrad is shaking. She didn't get to go to Paris.
You literally cannot base, and this is like something that my mom used to do, like my mom did with my dad, and they're not together anymore. And I said this from day one. I was like, I will never follow a man like because of his job. I will never ever do that. Like, I love Connor and we're together, but it would be a decision that we both made, not just because like I want to tiptoe around him, like that's just not it.
Yeah, it's like a joint decision that you make together.
And it didn't feel that way with like after talking with my mom like for like years of this kind of shit, it was always like, oh no, dad
so we went,
yeah. And that's just like, and again, this even goes back to her. You cannot go and do something for a guy. Period.
Totally. Yeah.
I think an important part though, maybe she should ask her boyfriend like what he wants in his future goals. Like,
I agree.
She said she wanted to stay in New York. Like, me and my boyfriend are long distance right now, but I know that he like wants to move to New York like in June so that like we can live in the same area. She should like make sure. I'm not saying that like they should break up in this instance, but she should make sure that they have the same goals in mind.
True, like so
that it's not just like long distance for God knows when, because then you're just kind of holding off on the inevitable.
There should be an end point, like that's even like for Connor and I, it was.
We're just like, what do you want out of life? Like, what if he's like, I want to live in our hometown my entire life, and she's like, well, I want to travel. So like, there's more of a definite answer. Totally. So I agree with that.
No, I totally agree. Connor and I did the same thing. It was like, where are we ending up? And then Connor was applying to jobs in this area because that's what he wanted to do, and it wasn't a decision based on where I was at. It was for something that he wanted to do in general,
Totally.
And I think that helps to have that common ground. Absolutely. I completely agree with that.
Okay, next question. Ask Alyssa, please keep this anonymous. How to tell your sister she's kind of toxic and needs to go to therapy, but she thinks she's fine because she's just offloading on other people to make herself feel better instead of going to therapy.
Ooh.
Sounds like it's just so funny because I have a sister and like I totally relate to this.
I mean, I relate to this hard now, and I relate to this hard a couple years ago with my siblings.
Just with siblings always, with anyone in your family, really.
Totally. But the thing is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink it. And that's just it. Like, you can continue. They have to figure it out for themselves. They have to say, okay, like I really have hit this point. Like I really need to go get help. And it has to be a decision based on them from experience. Like,
well, I also think it's how you say things to people. So for example, if this were my sister, I would say it with love and care. I would be like, oh, you've been telling me so much about all of these things that you're dealing with. Have you thought about talking to someone about it? Because I just am not sure I have the advice. Like, I'm not sure I could help you because like I'm biased and it's hard for me to kind of separate, you know, you as my sister and you and your situation. Like, would you be open to talking to someone? Like, kind of like that.
Yeah, you can't just be like, go to therapy.
Yeah, you can't be like, you're a psycho bitch, go to therapy, fix your problems, you dumb bitch. Yeah. Like, no, you have to be caring and loving and supportive and make them feel like it's a safe space and that talking to someone would be like a really good benefit to their life.
Totally.
So I think sometimes most of it is just communicating in a way that's empathetic and caring.
And it's also to like her situation, it's not fair for your sister to be unloading everything on you anyways. You know, there's a lot to holding other people's emotions and feelings is a lot. It's heavy, you know, it's like it's not fair. And I wouldn't say be like, oh, this is really unfair to me, because you don't want to make it about you in that situation. But totally. I do think it's like it is the communication and the wording of it, really, because you don't want to like be a bitch, but you shouldn't tiptoe around it either, because that's not fair.
No, I agree. I totally agree with that. Okay, guys, that's it for this week's Ask Alyssa. Just those two. Don't forget to DM me your Ask Alyssa questions so I can get to them. I do want to mention really quick, Kate will be there. I am doing another live show April 7th. Everything is linked in my bio, so you can buy tickets there, and then anyone that buys tickets to the live show in New York City will get access to the after party, which was so fun last time. We all blacked out. Like, it was just wild.
Oh God, that was so funny.
So yeah, I just want to mention that that's happening. I've kind of done a bad job at promoting it. I haven't been posting it very much. I'm like, oh shit, we're like 2-3 weeks out. I need to start telling people.
We're almost in April.
Anyway, let's move into the Spill the Tea segment, the final segment. Hey, are you ready to spill the tea?
Sure.
What do you think of Pete Davidson getting 2 tattoos and a branding of Kim Kardashian?
One, didn't realize that he. I thought you were going to say.
Thank you for the news.
I thought you were going to say, what do you think of Pete Davidson? I was going to be like, hot.
So
hot.
There was a clip that surfaced of Kim on Ellen, and basically, Ellen was like, we saw a picture of Pete in bed, and it looked like he had Kim on his chest, and Kim was like, yeah, like coy. And
so was it just the one? You said 3.
So then Ellen was like, oh, did he get a tattoo? And she's like, it's actually a branding because it's more permanent. But yes, he has a few tattoos of me.
What do you mean, like?
Yes, like what you do to cattle. So then Ellen was like, what do you mean he has a few tattoos of you? And then Kim said that he has one on his chest that says, my girl is a lawyer. And then another one that she wouldn't disclose.
I'm sorry. The only reason why I think that's so stupid is because he got one for Ariana Grande.
Every girlfriend he's ever had.
And then he covers it up.
But that's why he got the branding, because I think to be like, I get tattoos for everyone, but I got a branding for you.
I like them together. I don't know.
Oh, I love them together, but I kind of have my reservations, and I love Pete Davidson, and I think he's great, and I hear he's such a nice person.
Yeah.
But the way things move so hot and heavy, I'm like, are you a love bomber?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I never even thought about it like that. But I also feel like they kept it like kind of discreet for a little bit. Well, you know what?
No,
Based on what Kim said, though, like the little clip that I did see on TikTok with her on Ellen, it was like, she was like, I just want to be happy. And I do think that like she really has found happiness with
I agree.
him. And so like, how long will this last? Who knows? But
does he find happiness super quick with every woman he dates is my fear. I'm just protective of Kim.
Totally. No, I get that. I get that.
As if like
like you're like her friend.
I just want the best for her.
No, same.
They also blocked Kanye, like Meta. So stupid. Meta blocked Kanye from using Instagram for 24 hours. And then the Oscars dropped him from performing because he was harassing Kim on social media. And basically he had a slip up with Trevor Noah where he like said something racist, and Trevor Noah's hosting the Oscars, and Trevor Noah's so hot.
Did you see like on TikTok, it was like, where is his PR team? Like,
no, he fires everyone. He's had like 15 lawyers.
Oh my.
He's just, it doesn't matter. He can't be tamed.
I actually do feel really bad for him though.
Why?
Have you seen his documentary?
No, but like I don't feel bad for him.
I feel like since his mom passed away, I felt like it was just like after that. You know, like it just felt like they had such a close relationship, and it kind of goes through all of that in the documentary.
No, listen, I feel bad for anyone that's been through like hardship, and I feel bad for losing his mom and all those things, but I don't feel bad like he's harassing his wife.
No, like I completely, and I don't condone that. Like I don't think it's like it shouldn't be like what's happening. You know,
Totally.
he really should be doing this like really behind any kind of social media, but I do still feel like super bad just based on like the things that he just seemed normal like before, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Like you saw a visible change in him.
Totally. I mean, not that I like know him personally, but like just based on like what he's putting out.
And I don't want to talk about mental health because I think last time I said someone had something they didn't have, but I believe with certain mental health disorders, you develop them versus being born with them. Specifically bipolar disorder, what I've heard is that trauma could cause mental health,
like trigger it.
So again, fact check me, don't hold me to that, but I have heard that. So if that's true, I think that's why we see a lot of people in Hollywood get kind of like mental health issues later in life because they have so much childhood trauma.
Totally.
And it like that's what onsets it.
Got it. Yeah.
So it would make sense. Like you're saying the person I saw and the person I see today.
But like don't hold us to that.
I remember hearing this from like a doctor. So okay. There's a few others. So Vanderpump Rules, you probably don't watch, do you?
I don't.
So
I have. I've watched like very like little of like the first season.
So Tom and Katie, they got married. If you don't know, spoiler alert, years ago, and they're getting divorced. I think we all saw this one coming. Like I don't know. Everyone's really bummed, and in my head, I'm like, no, yeah, I didn't think they would stay married.
Were they like big characters on the show?
They're huge characters, but also they went through cheating scandals and just screaming matches. And like the whole show was the ups and downs of their relationship.
Yeah.
So I guess as a viewer, I'm like, yeah, no, guys, like saw this coming. But everyone else is like devastated. And it's sad because they love each other. And I really respected their breakup announcement because, you know, how most celebrities are like, we want privacy during this time. Tom was like, look, I know everyone says they want privacy, but I also realize I've been on reality TV for 10 years and I probably won't have it. So I just want to let you know this fucking sucks. And
keeping it super real.
He's like, I love her and it was her choice. And like, he just was so honest. And I was like, yes, like this is how announcements should be because it was just so real.
So how does that work though? If he's claiming it was her choice?
Well, I think she's even saying it was her choice. I think she was just like, I listened to her podcast. She talked about it. She was like, it's something that I was thinking for a while, but I kept pushing aside, being like, maybe my feelings will subside. Maybe. And basically she was like, all of the things that have happened to our relationship like came to a head. And I was like, I'm not happy.
It's so hard. I feel like being in that kind of spotlight, especially like reality TV spotlight, you know, and starting a relationship
and everyone knowing the ins and outs of your relationship,
right? Like is like cheating scandals, and then everyone has their own like thoughts and perception on it, you know, and I think that that's probably why people are so upset is because they have this thought of them in their mind, and then once that's broken, you're like, well, shit, like that's not how I remembered this, that, and the other thing, you know. That's how it normally goes.
Yeah, exactly. So, but even up until like their wedding on the show, I remember they were fighting. See, it was even one of those.
You just knew.
I think if anyone watches the show back in chronological order, it will make more sense. Yeah. But you know, from a big picture, you want people to be together. But then when you look back at it, you're like, oh wait.
Also, could they have been doing it because of the show?
I think shows hold couples together longer sometimes because you don't want to disappoint the fans.
Totally.
And then you have this pressure to not have the reality TV curse, like, which is breaking up with someone.
I really have no idea like about any of the show. Is it still on?
Yes, it's on. It's been through a lot. It's
based in LA, right? It was in like the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then a second thing I want to talk about is they picked both Gabby and Rachel to be the Bachelorette next season. I did not watch The Bachelor this season until the 11th hour. Also, like my followers, like the Tea Tribe thought I was lying because I got The Bachelor on my podcast and everyone's like, you started watching the show because you had this interview with him. I'm like, no, none of that happened. What happened was I saw Clayton, this guy, he was the Bachelor. I saw him in real life in our office. He walked by. He had abs from his chest to his penis. Like he had.
Alyssa was literally drooling for a week straight after seeing this man for 30 seconds.
Him. So then I was like, I'm gonna watch the show. So I watched the show in like a 2-week span, and then I said to PR, I want him on my podcast, and they got me him. So I had him on my podcast. And wait, so everyone online is like, you played us.
What's controversial about it? Because I saw I heard your podcast.
Yes.
Or whatever. Like, why is he controversial?
Every bachelor's controversial
in some way, but like, what's with like the girl that he's with now?
Because
he slept with two of the women before going to the third date with the girl that he liked the most. And she was like, if you slept with these other women, like, I don't know if we can be together. And he was like, well, I liked you the most. Like, if you told me that, I wouldn't have done it. Mm-hmm. But it's like, well, you
But now he's with the one that he likes the most. And the other two, they made the Bachelorette. But the issue that I have, and the reason this is on my list, is The Bachelor pisses me off because they would never make 2 male leads. It's like they have such a double standard for women. They needed Chris Harrison, the host, had to step down, and they replaced him with 2 women. Because why? One woman can't do the job. Then another season, they had 2 bachelorettes, and the men had to pick which one they liked more. Now, 2 more leads, and it's like, it just pisses me off because it's like this show takes 2 steps forward and 10 steps backwards. It's like, why do you always need 2 women to do one person's job?
Yeah.
Just the feminist in me is like, ew.
I mean, honestly, I can't tell you the last time I watched a show. Actually, that's a lie. No, that's not a lie. I really can't tell you the last time. I think the last time I watched it wasn't Katie's season. Who was before that?
Michelle?
No.
It
was a guy. I watched one of the last guy seasons. I don't remember.
You know I'm blanking.
Oh, you know what it was? It was Pilot Pete. It was Pilot
Peter.
Pete. It was Pilot Pete. That's the last season I watched.
Think about Pilot Pete's situation with Maddie Pruitt. Same thing happened, except same thing happened.
It wasn't this. Yeah, it was the same thing.
So they both
where it was
sucked,
kind of just like shitty. But
Wait, can we tell everyone what you did to Greg?
So I'm so embarrassed.
At my last live show, Greg Grippo was in the green screen room with us, and Kate, like, we've had a few drinks at this point. I think this is after the show.
This was after the show. I was like definitely hammered.
And Kate stopped watching at Peter's season. She went up to Greg, and she didn't know the history of him with Katie, like, leaving the show and how dramatic it was. And she was like, I said, did you love her?
No, I asked him, so what place did you get in?
And then Greg was like, oh, like,
well, because I have no beef with like The Bachelor or like whatever.
Yeah.
Like it is like it's a great reality show. I would say, a great dating show, and some people love it. I'm just like not. That's just like not the type of shows that I like. I like very like rom-com, like very like cheesy.
Oh, I love
shows.
cheesy
Yeah,
shows.
like that's just like me. Like I can't sit there and like watch that kind of stuff.
Wait, but tell them what you said to him. Finish.
So I'm just trying to justify it because I sound like such an asshole. I literally am like,
you didn't mean it. You didn't know.
No. I was just like, did you love her? And he was like, what the fuck? He was really nice about it, but I was like, I literally like
no. And Aubrey was like, you can't ask him that.
Yeah, Aubrey was like, and I like the words came out of my mouth, and I was like, word vomit. Like what? Like why did I ask that?
Asking the hard-hitting questions.
Just no chill. Although he's like he's so nice. And I feel like he like shows his funny side sometimes. Like him and his friend were on Story the other day doing like
oh yeah, that whole skit.
They were doing like a face routine, and like they were like cracking up, and I literally was cracking up because of their laughs. Like it was
I know
so
The Bachelor doesn't do a good job at showing people's true
personalities. Like you could, because I think that you would actually fall in love with these people even more, and the show even more, if you could see.
That's my whole gripe with the show. They show us, they waste too much time on like drama that they facilitate versus just natural things happening that are good TV.
Right.
Okay, I digress. Last thing I want to talk about, I know you didn't watch it. I asked you this morning.
Yeah.
Bad Vegan. And you asked me, should I?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's this new show, this like 4-part documentary that came out on Netflix this weekend. And normally I'm not like a sit at home and watch a documentary alone type of gal. But my friends were talking about it and I was like, I have nothing to watch. Let me just give it a go. Oh my God, it makes the Tinder swindler look like lame. It's about this woman in New York City who owned a really high-end vegan restaurant that was like ahead of its time before like vegan cuisine was popular. And she's like pretty and blonde and skinny and cool. And she was like rubbing elbows with celebrities all the time. And she got into a relationship with this man. And I'm not giving anything away, guys. This is like the main this is like, the back of the book. She gets into this relationship with this man who starts like manipulating her and telling her that like mystical things happen in the world. And he starts like basically brainwashing her. Mm-hmm. And then they get caught up in crime, and she ends up going to Rikers, the jail. Okay. And it's following her whole story of like criminal behavior, but it was like this seemingly really normal woman. And it's like, I think the whole thing is, could a normal person do weird things because they get brainwashed, or are you not brainwashed and you're just making bad decisions? So it's kind of like
when you asked if I watched that and you started talking about it, I really thought you were going to be like, and she owns this restaurant, this vegan restaurant, and what happened was she actually was just giving people meat the entire time.
Well, she was
just giving people hamburgers the entire time and saying it was vegan.
Can you imagine? Well, there was a whole thing where, again, not a spoiler because this is all in the preview, but like she basically, the reason why they are able to arrest her is because they track her credit card to a pizza place. Oh, so that's why it's called Bad Vegan, because like all the headlines were like glamorous vegan girl caught ordering pizza.
Oh my god.
It's just the most,
I have to watch it,
fascinating, trippy thing. So I told some of you T-Tribers to watch it this weekend, and I DM'd her, obviously trying to get her on the pod, as I do with everyone. Also, for the record, I was DMing Anna Delvey, and she ghosted me and then went on Call Her Daddy. So, Anna, what the fuck? My interview would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I'm pissed.
She's very interesting.
I was literally emailing her from
I heard
jail.
She didn't answer any of the questions anyways.
I know, but I feel like I would have positioned.
I did see that too. I saw that on TikTok. It was like, or like she like kind of avoided everything.
But I just would have like, and no shade to Alex, it was a great interview, but I would have approached it so differently. Yeah. So I'm curious if I would have gotten more out of her. So maybe
I wonder how much she's allowed to say though, really. She's in jail, no?
I know, but I would have had a little fun with her. Like with people like that, you need to stroke their ego.
I didn't even watch that show on Netflix.
You got to get in front of the TV, girl.
You know what I'm watching right now? I'm watching One Tree Hill.
Oh, of course.
I'm watching that from the beginning.
Nathan or Lucas?
Nathan.
Same. Nathan's the hottest man I've ever seen.
Connor and I are watching it, and he goes, I fucking hate this loser. to Lucas Scott.
He is a loser.
Like I don't want to be mean to people, but it's like a character, so it's fine. But he goes, I just hate everything about his character.
He's like a whiny.
Yeah, he is. He's just like, well, also the way that they do those shows are kind of like, when I watched this in high school, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is how I want my high school to be. You watch it back and you're like, this is so cringy, but like in such a
I watch it and I'm like, I'm so mad I'm old, because like I just want to be back in that cheerleading uniform. I wasn't even a cheerleader. I just want to be driving in my car. Like, do you know those emotions you felt in high school?
God,
like, you felt so hard for everything.
But I really would never want to go back to that time ever.
My sister was so dramatic. Like, she used to love boys, and she would come home and like throw herself on the floor and be like, I didn't hear from him today. Like, when you're young and you're just so dramatic.
Yes. So funny.
Oh, man. All right, Kate, that's it for today's episode. Thank you for joining me and just shooting the shit with me.
Thanks for having me on.
Where could everyone follow you, stay up to date? By the way, Kate eats food on Instagram and TikTok, and
it's just
this is your second time, so
yeah, it's just so weird. I don't know.
It's just so weird.
So weird. It's at Kate on TikTok and Kate Norkeliunas on Instagram and YouTube.
Woo! Thanks, Kate.
Thank you.